All right. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Coffee Q&A. How y'all doing? I'm Jay, your host. We're here weekdays, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, talking about coffee, answering questions that you may have, or maybe just talking about coffee, about questions that you may not have ever asked. Naomi's good. That's what's going on, Naomi. Being vegan, I haven't had eggnog in so long, it's hard for me to imagine what this latte will taste like. Ooh, well, I gotta say, this is eggnog, right? This is an eggnog. This eggnog is about a year old now. It's been sitting in my refrigerator for about a year. This is not an eggnog that I make. I don't really know how to make eggnog. I know how to make eggnog. I just don't make it. One of my good friends, Alfred Plitt, his family is into eggnog, and he makes this eggnog. And let me tell you, it is some of the best eggnog I've ever tasted. Like, he sent me a recipe. I don't know if it's the actual one. Maybe it's not. But he sent me a recipe, and I looked at it, and there are a lot of ingredients. Like, it has egg yolks. It has sugar, brandy, peach brandy. What else? Dark rum, white rum, whipping cream, and milk. And it's supposed to be made at least half a gallon. So if you look at the description below, I've included a recipe that is for a half a gallon total, and you can mix it together and see if you like it. And if you're vegan, maybe you could use like oat milk or something like that, or some kind of thicker imitation milks to give you that flavor. And then maybe, I'm sure there's like some kind of egg yolk substitute, right? So there has to be that kind of thing. Mom, good morning to you. Rusty with booze? Heck yeah, you with booze. This is not the stuff you buy in a carton at the grocery store. This is the real deal mother of load, which is why I can have it a year later. Now, people always will say, I always wonder, like, oh man, is it safe to eat? Yeah, man, there's so much liquor in this thing that it is well preserved. In fact, my friend Alex, her and I got together and we had some of this last month. And I was like, oh, I better save it for the live stream, especially since it's a year old now. So as you can see, it's a bit separation has gone on. You can kind of see the difference here. Keone is in Honolulu. Oh, excellent. I'm glad you could join us today, man. How are things out in Honolulu? I'm very envious that you're there. Or I'm very envious that I'm not there, really. That's the thing. How long are you in town for there? Hopefully it's a good while. Maku's with us. Did I say that already? All right, whatever. Yeah, so much booze. There's a lot of booze. Like it's quite boozy. So much booze that I thought that I'd better make sure that I eat something before we begin. Otherwise, it could get ugly. Right? So I had a little bit of leftover ham from Thanksgiving, some rice, just cold because it's sitting. Actually, I was going to eat this Baby Bell. I was going to eat this little Baby Bell cheese, and then I just never got to it. So I was like, okay, time to eat that. Naomi says, I take it you can't use this for the upcoming competition. I think we can. Like, I don't think there's any restriction on that. Of course, I haven't read I have to review the rules again. I'm actually thinking about maybe not going because there's just so much happening. And it's like, do I really want to go away for a weekend in the middle of December? It's like, maybe. We'll see. I need to decide. If I'm not going to be able to go, I need to decide the next day or two. So anyway, I think it can be used. It has the alcohol. We're going to add espresso to it. It should be quite amenable to that situation. Okay, so let's have a look. So as I say, it's well separated. It's a year old. Well, let's have a look inside here first before I shake it up, because you can see the cream has separated from a lot of the liquid. So let's have a look here. Okay, so there, zoom in some. Look at that. There it is, all in this yellow, creamy glory. Maku says, I guess first we'll have to see if the result is good enough for the cup. True, absolutely. Keone is saying that we'll be here until the 10th. Had to renew my passport, ran out of pages, and taking care of some other things, going to a coffee show in Crum Tip. Oh, nice. Yeah, I ran out of pages on my passport, my regular passport in 2015. And I was only in town that time for like just for a couple of weeks, and I was trying to see if I can get down to the State Department in Washington, D.C., because it's only about an hour, 20, half an hour, hour and a half from here, to get a renewal, or at least to get pages added to it. And then, but I wasn't able, there was just no time. They wouldn't be able to accommodate me. So I had to go to Dubai. So I called up the embassy in Dubai and I was like, can I get an appointment while I'm there? And they're like, yeah, they had an appointment. It was great. It was really easy. I flew to Dubai almost on a full passport. I was a little bit concerned they might not let me in, because here's the thing. If your passport is full, like the page, you're running out of pages, some countries may deny entry to you, which is a weird thing for them to deny. It's a weird thing for them to deny entry to you, but that, and then also they can deny entry to you if you have less than 6 months validation on your passport. So basically, if my passport was going to expire in January, it would be risky to travel now without a new one, because they may turn me away. So just be careful of that if you're traveling. But Keone, are you adding pages? Oh, you're just renewing, yeah. Because I thought that was 2015 when I had they added pages to my passport, and I heard after that, when I finally got my renewal in 2019, they were like, no more adding pages. You just have to get either to get the 26 page or the 52 page passport. So I don't know if they're doing that or not. But anyway, yeah, Kenny says can't add pages anymore. If you travel abroad within 14 days, you can get a new passport within 2 days. Oh, nice. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to shake it up, because, like I said, it's separated. So we want to shake it and make it nice and homogenized or emulsified. And it doesn't really take a lot. There's a little bit of I don't know, whatever that is, bacteria, mold, who knows what it could be, but it's something at the bottom. We're just going to shake that in completely, disperse the bacteria across the entire mixture. Oh yeah, baby. Okay, we'll get our little rocks glass. And let's have a look here. Oh. By the way, it is kind of nice to be in the studio again. It feels kind of weird. I was setting up and I was like, it feels kind of strange to be here, because we haven't been in the studio for quite a while. Now, removing the lid is a strong aroma. Sweet, like fruity, kind of like fruitcake, holiday, boozy. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Not there. Nice and let's go this way. I'm going to pour a taste, just a little taste, just to whet our appetites. Man, it's so different now than it was. Like even a month ago, it was different. Like one thing about this, because there's so much alcohol, it's not going to turn bad. Like the milk has not turned rancid or anything. But the complexity of the beverage just changes. There's a little bit of, not even a burn. I want to say there's a little bit of burn. There's a little bit of sizzle from the alcohols. There's creaminess. There's good body. Wow, it's really great. Like, wow. I'm stretched to like consider how to describe it. Maybe some brandy, definitely fruit, like a apricot, peach, not really, more apricot kind of fruitiness to it, right? Ooh. That was good. Marcus says that, yeah, yum, I try some, yeah, heck yeah, this is the kind of bacteria, this is the kind of pro-bacteria we want to have. This is why I had to stop drinking with Alex the other week, because I was like, man, I want to plow through that. Okay, so let's go. Oh, see, it's been so long since we've been in the studio that I forgot to mount the other camera. So my apologies on this. We're going to have to go with well, hang on. Let me go grab the other camera. I've got it not too far away because I was actually shooting a video for the other channel about these headphones, earbuds kind of thing that I just picked up yesterday, and I guess they're supposed to be pretty nice. I've been working, with a lot of equipment lately, making a lot of noise, and I had to think about hearing, of course. I wanted to get something I can listen to music with. All right, here we go. This is I don't know if I've showed this to you before, but this is the camera that I shoot most of the videos on this channel with. This is the Sony ZV-1. It is a small point and shoot, and I have a Rode Video Mic Go 2 microphone mounted to it, and pretty much this is the setup that I use for almost every video that's on the channel. Where it's a great small compact camera that has really nice resolution and picture quality, and it's nice and compact. And this is kind of the setup that I use, like especially I go to like shops and stuff. Remember yesterday when we were on the live stream and we were visiting Starbucks, I was holding the phone, but typically I'll hold this camera right here. And what I like about this camera is that it's really it's less obtrusive. It's not inobtrusive, but it's less obtrusive than, say, for example, if I brought out my other camera, which is arguably a nicer camera, right? Let me just grab it. Since we're talking about it, and perhaps because now I have a little bit of inebriation and we're just taking these tangents, and it's a Wednesday. So like this is what a lot of YouTubers will use. This is the Sony FX30. And this one has a Deity microphone mounted to it. This Deity microphone is actually one that has a back and forth, microphone, so that if you wanted to, you could shoot and talk to someone and talk to the camera, and it would hear clearly both. This has a very small. This has a very small lens, and this lens is actually the same lens that is on this camera that you're watching now. This lens and that lens are the same. So this is a really small. It's considered the kit lens, so not a really a well-regarded lens. But as you can see, if I'm holding either camera, both cameras, right? This, especially, I normally have it on a little handle. This is a little more obtrusive than this one, right? So, and what I don't want is for people who are on camera to necessarily be too conscious. Like, people are always going to be conscious about themselves on camera. And if you have this, and I'm talking to you like this, I feel that I can keep eye contact with someone and just kind of be conscious in my mind of how I'm angling the camera to get them in frame. Whereas, you see a lot of YouTubers, or I see a lot of YouTubers that are out there with these cameras, and they're like, so tell us about the coffee. And even if I was to hold it here, right, I would have the screen out so I could kind of monitor it. Like this is bigger now, and I think it just, and I don't want people to be too self-conscious about themselves as they are on camera. Now, let me just grab these. So the nice thing about these ZV-1s is that I can just plug it in to, this is USB-C, this is USB power, which it unless you have a very fully charged battery, the battery will deplete faster than it can charge it. Especially in this situation. For whatever reason, the setup we have here, it depletes the battery. It doesn't charge as fast. And then this is a mini USB or micro USB, micro HDMI connector. And then I have everything mounted to an overhead. I'll mount it overhead with a C stand on an arm. Okay, I'll turn this on. Get Will that be all right? Is that too bright? Oh, that's too bright. We'll turn down the iris on that a little bit. Ooh, not that way. Okay, so it's a little bit messy. Okay, so now you can see that we've got everything set up here. What we're going to do is everything's been heated up, and we're going to now prepare some coffee. So we've got a little bit of nothing in there. And like our normal practice here, I have not used this machine since our last live stream. So it's basically sat here for a week. So the grind has not changed. The coffee has not changed. The hopper is still not changed. I mean, nothing's changed. Okay, let's grind a little bit to get through whatever's in here. We want to get it out and get to some fresh coffee to pour out for shots. When Naomi says it has peach brandy for that stone fruit flavor, yes, that is very true. That is very true. But the interesting thing, it didn't have a very peachy, it had more of an apricot kind of character. All right, so we're going to grind up some coffee. And in case you might be wondering why am I wearing this puffy jacket, is because it's kind of chilly. It's not so chilly in the house, but it's chilly out. It's just chilly in general. All right, so we've got our coffee here in the basket. Just kind of pushed it around a little bit. Let's get our old school temper. I have been thinking more about those like temping tools, kits, setups that some of you have mentioned that what you would like in them. I've been thinking about that more. Okay, let's push through this. As you can see, it's kind of hot. A little bit of sputtering. You can hear the sputtering. I turn this machine on around 7 a.m. so let it sit for a few hours to really get nice and deep in its equalization. All right, there we go. Ooh, not a bad shot for sitting around for a week, starting off all right. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. Let's stop there. All right, there's our shot. Oh, not too bad, not too shabby. Not too shabby for an old guy. Okay, that's fully zoomed in. So looks fairly nice. Let's have a taste. Feels a little bit sharp. I think maybe one more shot will do nicely. Okay, so let's see here. Now, just as a taste test, let's add a little bit of our eggnog, just cold, to this whoosh, like just like that, a little tipple. Now, here's something. It's not, you can see it's kind of brown right there, the liquid. So I'm thinking that perhaps this is a situation where the weight of the eggnog has just dropped to the bottom, and now we have a layer. So let's have a taste to see if it is layering. Yeah, kind of. Let us do some. I don't think I like that. Or maybe I just don't have enough. Oh yeah, maybe not enough. Maybe we need a greater preponderance of the eggnog. I'm liking that. I'm liking that better. Oh. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make a cortado. Egg Nog Latte cortado. So let's, don't mind the, looks like there's some coagulation happening there. Don't let that put you off to this. Don't let that scare you. Don't let that scare you. We're not going to let that scare us today. Okay. Through here. So we've knocked out our puck. You can see that there's a little bit of maybe some over extraction, maybe. So we're going to get our shot. Oops, a little bit too much coffee there. We're going to get our shots ready. That's probably good. I just cleaned everything in here not too long ago, and now I'm going to make a mess again. Okay, so shots are ready, or at least the puck's ready. We're going to get our steam wand in its orientation. We're also going to get our pitcher, hit it with some milk, or with some of the eggnog. As you can see here, the eggnog in here now. Marcus says, would straining help at all with the coagulation? Yes, absolutely. If I actually ran it through a strainer in this particular case, it should take out those little globules of fat. Those are really what these are. These are really fat globules, right? That have still, because as it sits, because you can kind of see it here on the rim, right? You can kind of see here. There's some fats. These are the milk fats that will separate out of it. So when you have milk, commercial milk, let's say, and Al probably, I'm sure he bought like really fancy, like cream line type of milk. When you buy commercial milk at the grocery store, that's what's called homogenization. They have homogenized milk. It says homogenized, right? So what that means is that what happens is you milk a cow. The milk comes out of the cow, goes into a tank. They take it to the processing plant, and then what they do is they strip the milk of its milk fat completely. They take all the fat out, and now you just have this basically what's skim milk, right? So there's a skim milk liquid. Now they take this skim milk, and I think some of it they'll actually take and powder that, dry it out and make milk powder of it. That's why you get a lot of skim milk powder, or you have a lot of your powdered milks for skim milk rather than whole fat milks, right? So then they take that skim milk, they take the fat, and then they mix the fat back in with the milk to create the different dairy products that are available. 2% milk, they'll put 2% milk fat. Regular whole milk, 3.5 to 4% milk. Half and half, 10%. Heavy cream is actually like 35% milk fat. So for every 100 grams or 100 milliliters of 10%, 35% of that is, or 35 grams is going to be milk fat. So during that homogenization process, they're going to push. So my understanding from what they told me at the creamery is that they have these machines that have these screens, and they push that milk with fats through the screens, and those screens actually create the homogenization. It actually disperses the milk fats into the liquid so that it doesn't fall out, so it doesn't precipitate out of the liquid. This is my understanding. I could be totally wrong. Good morning to you, Michael. How are things down in Houston? We're making eggnog lattes, or making actually eggnog cortados. That's what we're making, cortados. Okay, so we got our cortado glass. Let's go back to our overhead cam. So here's our pucks ready to go. Flush one more time just to make sure the water runs clean. Lock and load. Drop our glass in there. Let's do some purging. We're going to start our processes. I feel like our shot is fast. I don't think I used enough coffee. And we're definitely in too much foam. Look at that. This is just embarrassing. It's embarrassing that I'd be on the internet doing this kind of thing. Okay, there's our shot. Coming back here. Make some room. Put our shot here. We have our foamy milk, ugly milk. Good Lord, man. Marcus says, bacteria coagulation fat globules. Use these to describe your drink to the judges, and you. I think I like that idea. All right, so we don't have any real milk foam. I think one of the problems with eggnog is that there's just so much other stuff that I think it inhibits the ability for the steam to get the latte art. Well, let's see. Well, maybe that's just my. If Emily was doing this, she probably could get it. If I'm doing it, yeah, probably not. I'm gonna pour it, see what happens. We get a little bit. but nothing really to form out. Okay, so there's a little bit of happening. There's a little bit of, oh, look, it is, it's that ghost from Scooby-Doo. Excellent. All right, so there's our, I mean, texture-wise, not too bad. But if we look here on the front, right, the layer of steam froth milk is really thin. Like it's this. For those of you watching from Australia, this is like the flat white dream. Like this is like how much milk foam you should have in a flat white. I think they'll be happy with this. I can't do this. If I tried to do this, I wouldn't be able to do it. But since I'm trying to actually steam milk, I can't, and get foam, I can't do it. And I can get this. Well, all right, so let's see. The heat definitely brings that alcohol character forward in the palate, but it's also not as sharp as it was. It's actually kind of smooth. But definitely that the heat has enlivened the alcohol, so it fills my nostrils more. This would be a Christmassy experience. Now, difficult part about this, let's say we like this. Let's say I was to try to make this for the competition. The problem is, this is a year old. This batch was made in November of 2023. It has changed, it has morphed, it has mellowed, it has become greater than it was. There's no way to, there's no way to truly replicate that. So maybe we'll try this weekend, maybe. I mean, the one thing about it is it is sensible to the season, right? It is. I mean, this is the holiday season. Where the competition is in the holiday season. This would be ideal for this time of year. And let's say I was to do well enough to qualify to move to the nationals. Like I wouldn't use this in the nationals. I would use something completely different because it's just another opportunity to try something different, right? Because for me, like I know a lot of competitors will come up with a signature drink in their competitions, and they'll use that as they progress through the ranks, right? And through the levels, like their regionals to the nationals to the worlds. I don't like that idea. Like for me, it's like when I did in the past, we would go from level to level, regionals to nationals. It would be like, I want to do something different. Like I've already done that drink. We're already doing that. So, and then whenever we had a drink that was for competition, we would put that on our menu at the shop because it had to be executable as well. So it couldn't just be this one-off thing that I would do by myself. It had to be executable by a team of baristas in a production environment. And depending on how popular that drink would be, would determine how long it would survive on the menu. Like if people didn't really order it very often, we eventually let it drop off. But if it was something that stayed with us, like the Halpia Macchiato, that was actually a competition drink. That stayed with us throughout the entirety of our retail operations. So, but I think that a drink should, and one of the things that I find that I'm critical about for competitions, that a lot of competitors, they make their drinks, and I think the same drink can be the most interesting to the non-initiated coffee person, right? To the regular guests out there. I think this is where the interest is. Remember, like yesterday, we're there, we had this caramel brulee latte. People love that, right? They love these kind of weird drinks. They're not just all about I just have to have geisha, right? So I think the signature drinks are really what can be exciting for most people to help generate interest and then act as a gateway to the deeper meaning of coffee. But a lot of people in coffee don't feel that way. They feel like, oh, we have to have the beauty and the preciousness. So they eschew that. But I always thought that, if you're going to make an interesting signature drink, let the guests try it. Let people try it. That's what people want to see. Actually, that's pretty darn good. Now, I don't know if it's good from a competition standpoint, but from an indulge yourself, that's pretty good. It's alcoholic. It's got some like citrusy fruitiness to it. It has, or I mean, yeah, citrusy but stone fruit, like you're saying. You know what I mean? The apricot, maybe peachy, but I think it's more apricot. To me, it's morphed into more apricot rather than peach. Nice for sipping, maybe good for chug-a-lugging. Definitely not good for sobriety. I have to go to the bank. Good thing I don't have guns because I might be there. I'll be like, I'm gonna rob you guys today. I know the banker very well. Like she's kind of a buddy of mine. I'd end up doing dumb things like that. This is why I don't drink too much. I feel like I would be one of those people that becomes invincible drinking. And it's interesting to because one of my good friends, a really good friend of mine who was a police officer many, many years ago, when he was still a police officer, he always had this saying. He's like, man, I never have. He's like, drugs are really illegal. We arrest people for drugs all the time. He's like, but I don't have a problem with marijuana. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, here's what I found out. He's like, I like marijuana because marijuana turns a-holes into nice people, and while alcohol turns nice people into a-holes. And I was like, that totally makes sense, man. Totally makes sense. What happens when you drink? You feel like you want to fight. Like, I'm drinking now. I'm feeling good, and I think I can rule the world. Which is bad. And this is why I don't like to get into sports, right? Like I don't want to be I try to be into sports because, I like to get wild, right? When I was at school in Hawaii, right? When I went to a place called Hawaii Loa College, a little teeny tiny college, 400 students total. Half of them were nursing students, so you never really saw them. They're like 200 students. Our arch rival was this school called Hawaii Pacific University, and the big game. There was no football. There was softball, and the girls fast pitch softball. The girls were awesome. Like they won the national championships the year that I was there. But really, everybody got into the basketball. That was really the big thing. Basketball and against our arch rivals, HPU, and it would just get wild. So there was a couple of times, and most things were like, you know what? I'm like, it's okay. Brawling is okay. Brawling is fine at a game. It's good to get your to get your lickings in, right? So I remember one time we're at this game, and like we're down by like 2 points. We're down by 2 points. Oh no, we're down by 3 points, and it's the last like 5 seconds of the game. Our guy comes around the edge, right on the line. Just as if he goes to zero, field goal, 3 points, would have tied the game, right? I'm actually on the side. I'm like close to the floor on the side of the line, right? And this is like the championship game. Like there's high stakes. Everybody is like high strung in this game. Everyone's crazy. And he hits it. And we're like, tie game, we're going to continue on. Ref calls it. He was standing on, he said he was on the line, 2 points. Oh my gosh, everybody lost their shit. Like we were brawling on the courts. I know that's unsportsmanlike. I get that. But you know what? Sometimes you just need a good brawl to just, to support your team. And then there was always fights with like HPU. Like I remember one time, another high stakes game. Something happened and people are brawling on the people on the court. Something goes wrong, you just jump on the court, right? You get into a little bit of a tussle with someone, and then you're kind of done, and you go home, and no big deal. You had a great time, right? But I remember one time I was coming, and this one HPU guy came up to me, and He came, he was going to swing at me, and as he was swinging, I was like, I ducked down just a little bit, and one of the players, this big guy, comes over me and clocks him, like I'm bending down, right? And this guy comes and clocks him, and I was like, It's terrible. I don't encourage that, right? With my niece and nephews, I don't tell them that they should do this. Like I'm very much like, we should not be doing that. But you know what? If we were at the Ravens game and the Steelers fans were in town and we got into a brawl with them, that'd be kind of fun. It'd be all right. We're going to take those terrible towels. We're going to burn them. So, yeah, I don't know. Marco says, I like your ex-cupper. Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a really great guy, really great guy. Sadly, his son passed away. Actually, my godson passed away during COVID. He got exposed to COVID during the COVID times. And one of the sad notes of that time. Oh, my gosh. All right. So, not bad. And so now we're in the holiday season, December. If you're thinking about making eggnog, try this recipe. I think you might find it to be quite enjoyable. Of course, everything's going to depend. Like you have I included the list of ingredients. They are enough to make half a gallon. You can double it to make a gallon. And if you like it, you probably should make a gallon. That way you can just give little jars of these to your friends. Like every year, I hope that Al will gift me a jar. I never ask because I'm always like embarrassed to ask, but I'm always like, I'm hopeful. Some years I get one, some years I don't. I'm always quiet about what I don't. I'm like, oh. But I'm always hopeful because he really makes a good one. And I don't know if that recipe that I'm sharing with you is anything like the one that he actually uses, but it should be pretty good. And as with anything, the results you'll receive will depend upon the quality of the ingredients that you're using. So if you can get like really nice farm-raised eggs that have really beautiful yellow yolks, that'll be a great thing. If you can get really good quality cream-lined milk, preferably from grass-fed Jersey cows, that's my personal preference, that'll be great. And then, of course, the alcohols that you're going to have will make an impact. And then you've got like the different brandies that you're using, the rums. If you have nice quality ones, use those. There's even to the point of the sugar, the type of sugar, like it just says sugar, so you can probably of course use regular white granulated sugar, but if you use panela or use piloncillo or any of the different types of sugars out there, those will definitely have an impact on the way that the flavor turns out. So even though the recipe is very basic, lots of experimentation can be done based on the exact type of ingredients that you're using. So, something to think about there. Anton says, what's going on, Anton? I may have pulled the trigger on the Maro machine. Congratulations, man, congratulations. I can't tell my friends because they will call me crazy. They're right, though. Yeah, I mean, you nurses, man, you guys are crazy. Like, you got all that stress, and, like, you need to, like, get rid of that stress. And so, yeah, buy that Maro machine. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to hearing how it turns out for you. And congratulations. That's very exciting. It's very exciting. I'm glad you could share with us. All right. I guess that's going to be it for today. I need to go and probably eat something before I go to the bank. Oh, that's good. That's good. Even a little bit of orangey now. Okay, orangey character. Like, I wonder what. So if let's say I was to use this for the competition, maybe this will be it. Maybe I'll just go and do it one day and come back home. It's fun. Like, it's Christmassy joy. And maybe that's what we need. Just Christmassy joy. Keone says, I wonder if you use sugarcane juice rather than granulated sugar, how that would come out. I bet it would be great, too. Especially if you got there and you got the cane and you were like grinding out the juice and then leaving it unfiltered. Forget it. Just let the unfiltered happen, baby. Just let it go. So it's all brown and like all mucked up looking. Like, oh, I'm scared to drink that. I'm scared. Yeah, I probably will. Like I was saying to everyone earlier, I was like thinking that it's getting kind of crazy for me you know, a lot of stuff happening. So I'm like, should I really go to Philadelphia for a weekend? Do this? Do I have the time for this? And I'm like, maybe I will. Maybe I will. I'll try it. Now that we had this, maybe I'll use that. That'll be pretty darn good. I gotta read the rules. Make sure that I understand the rules correctly. All right. I guess that's gonna be it for today. Back again tomorrow with another coffee Q&A. We'll probably be here in the studio. So hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you being here. We'll be drinking more. I'll be drinking the rest of this, but not the rest of this because that would be irresponsible. Especially since I have to go out, drive, and then use power tools. All right, so hope you have a great day, and see you next time.